Today we're installing a Madjax Light Kit designed for an E-Z-Go TXT. Included in the kit is your front headlights, your rear tail lights, as well as your wiring harness that includes your push-pull switch. Inside your instructional bag, you have your zip ties for mounting your wire harness and your mounting screws for mounting your front and rear tail lights. To do all this, we're going to use two cordless drills, a 9/16 socket, a tape measure, a marking pin, a 5/16 drill bit, a number 2 Phillips tip, a multimeter, and a cutting tool. Now let's get started. Our first step, we're going to drill out the hole for our front driver's side headlight. We have taped our template up along the ridges in the front cowl. Once you're happy with your template, we're going to mark the inside with a marking pin. Now, using our safety glasses, we're going to drill our pilot hole on the inside of our template line. Now, using our cutting tool, we're going to cut out our headlight. Now we're going to remove the template. Be sure to keep your template. We're going to use this on the other side of the golf cart. We're also going to take our cutting tool and remove this trim so that our light fits easier. Now, before we trim up any more, we're going to test our light and make sure it fits. Fits perfect. We don't need to take any more off. Once we have our light drilled out, we're going to take a little bit of sandpaper and clean up our cut. Place our headlight in. Using the screws that were provided in your kit, we're going to attach our front headlight. We're going to leave our harness hanging. We're going to attach that in a minute. We're going to repeat this whole process on the passenger side of the cart. Now that we have our front headlights installed, we're going to run our wire harness. Before we hook up our harness to our battery, we're going to make sure that our cart is in tow. We're going to feed our front harness down through the front of the battery and then run that up under the frame later. But right now, take your two taillights. You have a shorter taillight wire and a longer taillight wire. Shorter taillight wire goes to your driver's side. We're just going to feed that over the tire well for the time being. Same thing with our passenger harness. Keep in mind we have our cart in tow. Now we're going to hook up our positive and negative terminals. We've used a multimeter to determine where we have 12 volts on this cart. At this point, our switch is completely off of our harness. This way we ensure that we're not feeding any power through our harness. We're going to go positive, negative, once you have your battery terminal secured, we're going to zip tie our harness in place. Now that we have our harness installed to our batteries, we can cut out and install our rear tail lights. Using the measurements provided on your template, we have marked our spots and taped our template to our rear body. Now we're going to use our marking pen trace out our inside line. Using our safety glasses again, we're going to drill a hole, pilot hole in the corner. Once we have our pilot hole drilled, now we're going to use our cutting tool. Now that we have our hole cut out, we're just going to clean up our cut. Go ahead and attach your rear tail light wire harness. And use the screws that provided to mount it. Once we have our tail light mounted to our body, we can take the loose slack in the wire harness and secure it. Then we can repeat this entire process on the driver's side of the golf cart. Now we're going to run our harness through the frame to the front of the cart. I'm going to take off our push-pull switch to start. It'll make life a little easier when we're running through our voids. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to secure this wire harness so that it doesn't get caught on anything that you drive over. So what we're going to do on this cart in particular is we're going to run it through these voids here in the frame. And once we have our harness in place, then we will zip tie. Now once our harness is in place, we can attach our front headlights. Now that we've run our wire harness through our frame, we can now attach our front headlights. Just going to secure this harness as high up into the frame as I can. Take my first 3-prong, plug it into my passenger side. Once we have our passenger side headlight attached, we're going to take our excess wire, coil it up, and zip tie it. Now we have no excess hanging down that can get caught. We're also going to take our push-pull switch wires and feed them in to the dash. We're going to attach this later. Now we're going to take our driver's side headlight harness, run it up above so it doesn't get caught as well. Now we can attach our driver's side headlight. We also need to secure all this extra slack. Now that we have our harness installed, we're going to drill our hole out for our push-pull switch. To do this, we're going to drill a hole in our switch panel. Just going to find a center mark in the space I have available. Each cart has different places that are going to be available to put your switch at. Just use your discretion. Now using our safety goggles, we're going to drill a hole in our switch panel. Be sure, once you go through, don't push any further so we don't cut any wires. Now that we have our hole drilled, we're going to pop out our cup holder. To do this, pull on the back side, pop the 3 tabs out of the back. Now we're going to reattach our push-pull switch to our harness. We're going to unscrew our top, unscrew our nut. Now that we have our switch attached back to our harness, we're going to feed it up through, come back out of our hole. Then we're going to take our little nut, tighten down your switch, reattach your knob, going to reinstall our cup holder. Now that our cup holder is put back in place and our knob's on, we've now successfully completed our Madjax Light Kit installation for an E-Z-Go TXT.